Well, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sasha Farbach. Russia's overnight assault into Monday left at least one person dead and more than 30 wounded as drones and missiles struck cities including Odessa, Dnipro, and Kherson. On Sunday, at least 3 people were killed in a Ukrainian drone attack in the Moscow region. 12 more were injured in other drone strikes in the meantime as well. Swedish Defense Minister admitted that Swedish soldiers lost a drone battle against Ukrainians during the Aurora military exercises, which concluded last week. Now to talk all about it, we're joined with Yulia Sirko, Ukrainian MP from the Voice Party. Good to have you back with us. Welcome.
Hello from Kyiv, from the Verkhovna Rada.
So I want to ask about these latest strikes. I mean, they happened all across Ukraine, Odessa, Dnipro. Civilians again targeted. Tell us the latest from these strikes committed by Russia.
Actually, this is, for us, unfortunately, it's everyday life, like a new normal. So Russia targeting our cities and mostly civilians and residential buildings, particularly residential buildings, every night, almost every night, for past 4 years by drone and missiles. And unfortunately, a few days ago, they directly hit a residential building in Kyiv and left 24 killed, 25 killed, and over 60 people injured in Kyiv. So now in Odessa, in Kryvyi Rih, in other cities. So it's they are targeting civilians regularly, every night, every day, with no concerns and no stop. That's what we are not doing. We are not targeting civilian targets on Russian territory. We are targeting mostly refineries, military bases, military supply points, etc. So this is the difference between Ukrainian drone attacks and Russian drone attacks on Ukraine. So they cannot move on battlefield, and they are targeting, they are doing terroristic attack and targeting mostly civilian buildings, residential buildings in cities, in large cities.
And as you said, this is something also which has seen retaliation. I mean, we've observed this, especially also in the last days, but generally, so I'm curious about the capabilities of what actually Ukraine has striking deeper into Russian territory. We know that those are oil refineries, facilities, key infrastructure side, but also Moscow itself. So I'm just curious about, tell us a little bit more about the kind of impact that's having. I mean, what we can see, what we can know about Ukraine's abilities to really strike deep into the heart of Russia.
Yes, we can, as you see, we can strike deep. It's more than 1,500 kilometers inside Russian territory, and almost, sometimes we're reaching even 2,000 kilometers inside Russian territory. So we can reach far east from Ukrainian territory. Now we have enough capabilities to do it, and we are doing it, and we will doing. But as I said, we are not targeting residential buildings and residential civilians, Russian civilians. Were mostly targeting refineries and facilities, military facilities. And for Moscow, yes, I think as you know, it's like in World War II with Dresden. You have to bring back war on a territory of the enemy, of invader, and then maybe they will realize and recognize that they have to stop. So the main target is to bring war back to Russian territory, and to obviously we are doing it with Moscow. But we are not targeting residential buildings. I think it's mostly poorly managed Russian air defense system, which is hitting drones and missiles, Ukrainian missiles, over residential blocks. They have to hit it before drones arrive to residential buildings, but in generally we see that this is start working. So people see that Ukrainian drones, Russian people see that Ukrainian drones can reach reach Russian territory, and actually this is, I think, good lesson. So they can put pressure on Putin to stop the war and take his troops back to Russian territory. That's actually the main target, the main goal of these targets and attacks.
Yeah, and as you said, it's something that people can see, although not explicitly targeted. I mean, an oil refinery, these critical infrastructure areas on fire, that will be very visible, and it takes time to clear that up. And we've seen that now more and more in Russia, and that invincibility, I think, that Putin is trying to project, definitely now a question. We'll see what kind of impact that will have on actually his own government. But also, what else can be seen and noticed? Let's just go to Sweden for a moment. And apparently, there was this exercise, and the Swedish defense leadership has now publicly said and acknowledged that Ukraine has bested them, superior in drone warfare. So, I mean, in one way, congratulations, but also, what do you think the practical results of that will be?
I think this is, first of all, this is not first time when Ukrainians got victory and defeat in trainings on a European territory. I think the previous trainings was on the Baltic countries, and the Ukrainian drone team also got victory and overcame NATO teams. So I think this is just a sign that we are more skilled. Basically, we are more skilled because we have a real battlefield, real war on our territories. That's why we are more skilled, we have more knowledge on a real battlefield, and we can contribute to the security of European continent with our knowledge and skills. So we are not definitely going to fight with any European country, but we, as I said, because of the war, for 12 years war, and because we are far more advanced in the drone technologies, and particularly in using these drone technologies on a real battlefield. So that's why we defeat in this simulation, in this training. And this is actually the call for action. So Ukrainian military can contribute to NATO, to European security, and I think we have to jointly use it to unite to have a more secure continent in Europe. So that's the main probably lesson we can get from this simulation, from this training.
Yeah, and also we've seen that President Zelensky traveling around not just Europe, also the Middle East, in terms of also signing out those deals. So as a drone expert, that's something now unchallenged. Real quick, on a recent statement as well, Hungary-Ukraine relations, that's resetting. The Foreign Minister of Ukraine, Sabiev, said recently he wants to open a new chapter in relations with Hungary. What do you make of that? Where is this going, that relationship between Budapest and Kyiv?
I think we never had problems with Hungarians as a nation to nation. We had problems with Orban, who was very pro-Russian and very anti-Hungarian, I would say. We always we were in a good relations with Hungarians, and I think we have to restore relations, people to people, contact to contact, president to president, and prime minister to prime minister. I mean, that's the really new chapter. I hope that we will have our relations developing, and I think both countries will benefit out of it.
Yeah, indeed, and we know that also has changed how Europe deals with things, so we're already seeing that changing in the politics across the continent. Look, we'll have to close it there. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure speaking with you and having you with us here. That was Yulia Sirko, Ukrainian MP from the Voice Party. Thank you.
Thank you, too. Bye-bye.
And thank you for watching. That concludes World Talks, but stay right here on TVP World for more. Bye-bye.